If you learn, you earn. If you have the skills, you pay the bills. There are so many different sayings out there on why it's so important to keep your skills relevant, to learn new skills, to do things that help you get ahead. Well, welcome to a new year, 2025, when I'm recording this. And there are some skills that are in demand for high-paying jobs that I want to show you in this video and talk a little bit about. Some of them might seem very hard to acquire, but by taking the right perspective and breaking things down, you'll see that you don't need to know everything about everything, but just a few different skills can separate you from other people and really help you get the types of jobs you're looking for and even build an entire career in technology. Let's go have a look. Hello there and welcome. If you're new here, my name's Frank and I'm really glad that you're here. Here on this channel, we look at how we can use technology to learn and teach and be more productive. I have a master's degree in learning and technology, and I've been involved in the technology industry for quite a few years. I've been teaching at a post-secondary institution for quite a few years. In this video, we're going to look at skills. Skills that are really very in demand. They often lead to higher paying jobs, whether you're looking to augment your existing job or whether you're looking to break into a new career. These skills are skills that can really help you stand out and show that you know things that are relevant to the world we actually live in. Some of these skills have a lot of buzz around them. You hear them mentioned a lot. I want to talk in this video a little bit more pragmatically about these skills in a way where we look at how we can apply them without having to necessarily go back to university for 4 years for every one of these skills. Although for many of them, you certainly could. How can we apply these skills? What are these skills? And in this video, I'll share with you different ways and methods that I think you could use in order to learn these skills, either very inexpensively or even completely free. Now, having a list of 7 different skills that you should learn, that's great, but it can also be a little bit intimidating. And you might end up having a little bit of a crisis of confidence. Can you learn all 7 skills? Can you learn them well? Well, first of all, don't try to learn everything all at once. I have a lot of different videos here on this channel about how we learn and different ways that you can learn. But one of the pieces of advice that I give to anybody who wants to learn a lot of different skills, like 7 different skills, is pare it down. Just look at a few of the skills that interest you, and instead of saying, this year I'm going to learn all 7 skills, maybe break it down into smaller pieces. This is an excellent book, and this video is not about this book, but it's about breaking your projects and your learning into smaller compartmentalized time frames, in this case 12-week years. So I highly recommend this book. This is not a productivity channel, well it is, but this isn't a productivity channel where I'm going to review that book. But before you look at these 7 skills, don't go into this thinking I have to learn all 7 and I have to learn all 7 at once. I just wanted to say that because so many times these videos where we're talking about, oh, here are the top 10 or the top 15 or whatever the case may be, you look at them and you're like, well, that's pretty intimidating and now I have to learn all of this and have a limited amount of time in my life. Don't worry about it. Just pick 1 or 2 or 3 of these skills and say, I'm going to learn these in the next 3 months. And then you can break it down in a much more actionable plan. So that's my little advice to you before we even get into the 7 skills. Okay, skill number 1, let's get it out of the way because this is the one that you're going to see about 500 videos about artificial intelligence. But the thing with artificial intelligence is it is a massively broad subject area. So you could go and get really deep into artificial intelligence. And if you do want to do that, this is actually the book to do. But, we're not going to go this deep. You don't need to get your mathematics and your statistics and your programming and your PhD in computer. There are so many aspects to artificial intelligence. Here's the key skill that I would recommend learning when it comes to artificial intelligence. And that is comfort with using artificial intelligence in order to help you with your own personal objectives and productivity. Basically, that's a fancy way of saying prompt engineering. Look at how artificial intelligence can be used in your field in your area of interest, and then look at how you can work with an artificial intelligence tool like Copilot or ChatGPT or Claude or any of the Gemini or any of the tools out there, and how can you interact with those tools in a way that allows you to extract valuable synthesized information that you can then apply your own critical thinking skills against in order to be more productive. Because at the end of the day, artificial intelligence is really just about synthesizing information much more rapidly than we can by ourselves, and through a simple search, it synthesizes everything, and that's going to allow us to then use that synthesized information in order to make better human-based decisions. So how do we begin learning artificial intelligence? The good news on this is that there are a lot of tutorials on how to use artificial intelligence. The bad news of this is it's the same problem. There's so much information about artificial intelligence that it can sometimes be difficult to find a pathway to learn the tool. What my recommendation here is look at some of the different sites, and I'll be linking all these down below as well, but look at sites such as Udemy or Coursera or Microsoft Learn. There are different sites out there that will provide a structured methodology on how to use artificial intelligence, not as somebody who's developing applications with artificial intelligence, not as someone who is building models using artificial intelligence, not someone who's creating machine learning models, but as someone who is using artificial intelligence as a productivity tool. In the same way that we used to have to learn, or we still have to learn, Microsoft Word or PowerPoint or Google Slides or Microsoft Excel, all of these different tools, we learn how to use the software. We don't have to know how to program or build the software. And certainly the same applies for artificial intelligence. You want to make sure that you can understand prompt engineering so that when you're asking questions of a AI model, that the AI model can respond in a way that you can take the response and use it efficiently and effectively. Let's try that again. Efficiently and effectively. You want to be able to use artificial intelligence efficiently and effectively. So what I'll do is I'll link to different courses and resources that I think are useful for learning each of the skills that I'm going to share with you today, and then you can check those out individually. But artificial intelligence, don't think you need to learn how to become a programmer or actually develop solutions using AI. We're just going to use the tool as users to be more productive. That takes a lot of the stress off, but there's still a lot of learning to do when it comes to AI, especially in writing efficient and effective prompts so that we get results that are meaningful. The second skill that I think everybody should learn would be data literacy. Just like any type of literacy, it's not that you have to again become an expert in data analysis, data engineering, database administration. This happens to be the area that I really focus in on myself. I teach business intelligence and data engineering, and that is a fairly complex field in order to become proficient in it. We can have different ways to learn it fairly rapidly, but at the end of the day, any of those data fields can involve quite a bit of learning. In fact, I do have a video, I'll link it somewhere here, on the different roles in the field of data. But data literacy is really more about being able to read different types of charts, being able to interpret data, being able to use tools such as an Excel spreadsheet or potentially Power BI or Tableau or any of these data tools, not necessarily to completely build a data solution, that's a highly specialized skill, but being literate enough to be able to use those tools to interpret the data and the reports that are data-driven. This is a skill that sometimes doesn't get enough attention. If we're in a business environment or in any type of environment where we need to understand what's happening, then chances, and that's every environment really, isn't it? But we need to be able to see the data that supports the conclusions that we're making. So in order to be able to do that, of course, we have to be able to interpret what a graph is saying, what a chart is saying, what a report is showing us. So data literacy is all part about developing those skills. As you become more data literate, then you can start building a career in data where you can then start building those products or modifying some of the different data reports. That would then be a career that you could start working with and becoming more data proficient in terms of a career in data. But as an essential skill, that literacy piece is really important. For this, there is actually a book that I really like on this as well. And again, I'm going to link a lot of this below. This isn't really a shopping list of books, but there are a lot of resources I've used over the years. So the book that I like when it comes to data literacy is a book called Data Smart and another book called Becoming a Data Head. They kind of go together. Becoming a data head introduces you to data literacy, and then Data Smart gets you starting to work with data, and then you can just build from there. So skill number 2, data literacy. The third skill that we really need to level up and make sure that we have some proficiency and understanding of is cybersecurity. We're often given other people's information. Maybe they're a customer, maybe they're a student, whatever the case may be. And we do not want to be in a situation where we compromise their information or our own information to someone that should not have it. So we need to be cybersecurity aware. We need to understand what a phishing attack is, what a spear phishing attack is. We need to understand proper data hygiene to make sure that we're not exposing people's credit card information, personal information, home addresses, home phone numbers, all of the things that we wouldn't want to share ourselves with somebody we didn't know. So we don't want to share other people's information with someone that we don't know. So we have to be cybersecurity aware, not only for ourselves, but for those people that we interact with, to make sure that we're not compromising information that they've trusted us with. This doesn't mean that you have to learn how to configure firewalls and access control lists and set up some sort of server that's going to go through and scan for cyber threats. But it does mean that you need to be cybersecurity aware, and you have to have cybersecurity literacy. So again, you'll see with a lot of these skills, we can go much deeper. In fact, if you're interested in going deeper into cybersecurity, there is a YouTube channel by a coworker that I know called Red Blue Labs, and I'll link that down below as well, where that particular channel goes into how to do packet sniffing, use Wireshark, use different cybersecurity tools. But that's intended for someone that wants to become a cybersecurity expert and be the person that protects data sort of from a technical standpoint. When it comes to leveling up your individual skills, you want to level up your cybersecurity awareness to make sure don't click links you don't know. Don't talk to people on the internet you don't know. Don't fall for phishing attacks. Don't fall for any of these ways that people are trying to compromise our information. Microsoft will never phone you with a technical problem. You do not pay for any services in Google Play cards. Those are scammers, but we want to make sure that it's not just scammers, but other types of ways that people try to compromise our information. We want to make sure that we're cybersecurity aware and that we have cybersecurity skills. The fourth level up skill that you need to know are cloud services. Now, I do have some videos here on this channel where I talk about what is the cloud, how does the cloud work, what does it do for us, but it is quite important that you do understand the cloud. Computers have gone through several phases and evolutions. We first had computers that lived in their own room, the days of the mainframe, and we had the computing center. Then we had personal computers that were networked together, and that was the era of the LAN, or the local area network. We may have connected over geography, but we owned all the equipment and we had to set it all up so that people could access the equipment. Then, of course, we have the internet era, where many things are available to us on someone else's computer, and that's where the birth of the cloud occurred, where now we can have entire data centers with billions of dollars worth of equipment, and I can go and borrow a little bit of that equipment for a period of time as I need it, and you pay as you go. I'm not going to explain every aspect of the cloud. You can check out some of my other videos on that. But it is important from a skill set standpoint that you understand the cloud, that you understand what does it mean to store files in the cloud, what does it mean to share files with others from the cloud. That could go back to cybersecurity a little bit too. But you need to understand software as a service, potentially platform and infrastructure as a service, and just the way that the cloud works, where things are stored, how to connect up to the cloud, and the concepts behind the cloud. Again, the good news here is that it's quite easy. It doesn't take too long to get a good understanding of what the cloud is. Obviously, I recommend one of my videos, but there are many videos on what is the cloud, and there are some really good short courses that will give you an understanding of cloud services and how they work. As always, I'll link those down below. But understanding the cloud is very important because that really is how computation works in the modern era. So you need to have cloud skills, you need to understand what the cloud is, how to work with the cloud, and how to connect and the different offerings that the cloud offers for people. The fifth technical skill that will really help you level up is maybe a little different than the ones we've talked about so far. And it's the ability to communicate and collaborate with others, but using technology. A lot of times we're working from home, so we need to be able to participate in Zoom calls or team meetings. We need to be able to share ideas on a Slack server or a GitHub repository. This is going to vary between different companies and the industries that you're in, but a lot of times understanding how to do things like set up your audio, how to do things like set up your camera, whether or not you should use a virtual background. And the hint there is you kind of shouldn't, because there's a whole issue around virtual backgrounds in terms of the way that people perceive you if you have a virtual background, but sometimes it's necessary to block out distractions. Now I'm getting into the actual elements of collaboration online. The point here, though, is that as a skill, it's very important to have some understanding of what it means to collaborate online, what it means to communicate online, how to come across as professional, how to make sure that you are representing yourself, and if you're with a company or an organization, that you're representing them in a professional, positive way. And a lot of times when we're online, a lot of our skills go out the window. We don't have a lot of the visual cues. We don't have a lot of feedback necessarily from others. So that means that we need to adapt the way that we communicate and collaborate to incorporate the online elements. So when it comes to this, there's the technical aspects, making sure that you can install the software like Zoom or Teams, making sure that you can configure it so that your camera is working, so your audio is working, so that you know how to mute yourself, you know how to mute your camera, to bring your camera on, you know how to speak to a camera. There's quite a lot involved in terms of communication and collaboration online, but it is and is becoming even more of an essential skill. A few years back, we were kind of forced to use a lot of these tools, and now it's turned to a new world where we want to use these skills so that we can collaborate in school settings, in professional settings, and we can be geographically dispersed. This is an area, once again, where I do have quite a few videos here on the channel. Some of my earliest videos, so don't make too much fun of the way everything evolves, and my videos, hopefully over time, have gotten a little bit better, but some of my earliest videos were actually on online collaboration out of necessity, because I needed to get people up to speed on how to use Microsoft Teams, for example. But there are some really good courses. Guess what? I'm going to link those ones down below as well. But it is an essential skill, the ability to communicate and to collaborate online. Hello everybody, we've been joined by Blossom, my little black cat, who apparently wants me to hold and cuddle her, which works really well because I like my cat. So it's nice to have her here. And then this way I can pretend I'm a James Bond villain. Perhaps the next skill is one that you'll need, Mr. Bond. So the next skill number 6, is the ability to create content creation. We live in a world where we need to be able to create LinkedIn posts that make sense, that are appropriate for the platform, where we can go in and create an Instagram post, maybe even so far as creating a TikTok video or a YouTube video, creating a poster, all sorts of different content that's created in the way that people are expecting to consume information. So whether we're creating content for building our professional reputation, whether we're creating content in order to share an idea or marketing material, whether we're sharing information with students if we're a teacher, we need to be able to create content in a digital way, in a digital world, using tech skills. The good news around this is that there has been, especially in recent years, some really good online content creation platforms. Some of them have even sponsored videos here on this channel. So I use tools such as Genially, which I really like quite a bit. I use different tools. Well, Blossom's moving around now. I use different tools like iSpring to create courses. That's maybe a little more advanced. That's more if you're a teacher specifically. But there are great tools out there that you can use to easily create content, because there's a lot of templates you can use, there's a lot of guidance, and there's a lot of user-friendly tools. But you still need to take some time to learn how to use those tools and become somewhat proficient in their use. Content is king, and you need to make sure that you're participating in the creation of content. Regardless of what your audience or who your audience is, you need to be able to create and share information with them. So content creation is skill number 6. Would you not agree, Blossom? She always agrees with me because she's a very good cat. Well, Blossom's hanging around for skill number 7 because skill number 7 is a very important skill. I'm really glad if you've made it this far and if you're still here for skill number 7, because it's one of those skills that I don't see as many people talking about at this point in time. We're starting to see some more talk about it, but it's going to be one of those skills that I really think is going to absolutely level up your tech skills and is going to be something that really allows you to stand out. And that is automation. The ability to build an automated system to do routine tasks. Using tools such as Zapier or Microsoft Power Automate, you can go in and you can set up an entire logical flow without necessarily having to program anything. You're really putting pieces together in order to automate processes so that you can be much, much more efficient. I think learning something like Power Automate or Zapier is a skill that can really, really distinguish you and make you stand out. So if you've made it all the way to this skill number 7, that was worth the journey in my opinion. So when we talk about learning how to do different types of automation, I'm planning on making some videos here on the channel about this, but I'll link again to some courses that I think are useful, especially around Microsoft Power Automate. It's an amazing tool set that you can use in order to take things like a purchase order, have it automatically flow through your organization, or have a trigger event that occurs that makes a report get generated, whatever the case may be, right, Blossom? For example, Blossom has an automation process where at 5:30 in the morning, she jumps up on my night table and knocks my glasses on the floor in order to wake me up. So she has an automated food feeding process that she's developed. Very smart cat. She's a very smart cat. So if you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching, but there's a couple more things that I'd like to share with you. First, if you're interested in any of these skills, let me know if you'd like me to make some videos on any specific ones. Let me know even if you think that you would benefit if I made an entire course on all of these different skills, where I would go into all of the different tools or many of the different tools. That would be quite a long process for me to build that course, but it might be something that's useful. And if enough people comment down below, then maybe that is something that I will build in the future. Just let me know. Say hello to Blossom in the comments, and if you liked the video, hit like and subscribe if you'd like more videos on how we can use technology to learn and teach and to be more efficient. Bye everyone. Bye everyone. Blossom says goodbye. See you later. Take care.